Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga, Matchday 35. What a weekend we have ahead of us in La Liga because we have El Clásico, Barcelona, Real Madrid. After Barcelona are out of the Champions League, so it's a title decider. This game, Alvaro, Real Madrid must win to fight for the title until the last match day.
Real Madrid has to win. Barcelona needs at least a point, not to win the title, but to be in course to win La Liga. This game is going to be decisive, that's for sure. And it's absolutely crucial for Barcelona to recover well after a difficult game against Inter, after a defeat. I think Barcelona played well against them, but Inter took their chances very well. Barcelona defensively have issues, and they will have their issues because there are many players, important players in defense that they will be missing for Barcelona, especially in the fullback position. But yeah, Barcelona will have to recover against the Real Madrid that has never looked too good or very good, but they managed to hang in there and to win games. Even the other day against Celta was kind of scrappy, a very good first half, and then in the second half it looked like Celta could actually come back or at least draw the game, but it didn't happen. That's why we have a title race.
Well, Barcelona had won the three Clásicos this season, Super Cup, La Liga and the Copa del Rey, but let's see if they are affected by the KO in the Champions League. So guys, stay with us, tell me your tips about this El Clásico, and of course subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. And we have a game on Friday, Las Palmas Rayo Vallecano, crucial one. This one for Las Palmas, a must win as well for them because they are in relegation spots, 3 points away from Alavés, and this is a good chance to win, but they screw it up actually in the previous match day against Valencia at home. They lost 2-3. So it's almost a match ball for the Canary Island team, Alvaro, but Rayo Vallecano are also in the fight for Europe. They beat Getafe, so they have a chance to play conference next season.
Well, they still have a chance, of course, because they are 8th. And we have to say that the fight for the 8th spot and the 7th spot is one of the saddest, I'm sorry, fights I have seen in years. Because none of the teams in there are playing really well, apart from Celta, who is 7th. But if you look at Rayo, Osasuna, Mallorca, Real Sociedad, you know, they've been erratic. At least with Rayo Vallecano, we can say, look, they're having a good season considering the squad they bought and their financial capabilities. But if you look at the others, it's, you know, no one really deserves to finish 8th in La Liga. Coming into this game, there is a team that needs the win or the points much more. It's Las Palmas. Rayo Vallecano finally put an end to a bad run by winning last weekend. Las Palmas lost to Valencia 3-2, but before the defeat against Valencia, Las Palmas was okay, we can say. They got 6 points out of 12. But yeah, in this game, my thinking is that maybe the team that really needs the points more, in this case, is Las Palmas, because relegation or avoiding relegation is more rewarding than keep on fighting for the 8th spot. I'm going to back Las Palmas. They have scored a few goals lately. I think that they can score against Rayo. It's not Rayo, a bad team, of course. But I'm going to back Las Palmas, the home side, with a draw no bet, plain and simple. Again, Fridays are not my days for bet in La Liga, to bet in La Liga. But if I have to, in this game in particular, I prefer to put my money somewhere else. I will go for a draw no bet for Las Palmas, 168.
Well, crucial one, this one for Las Palmas. Next one on Saturday is not important at all. Actually, nothing on stake here. Valencia Getafe, Bordalás probably on the spotlight, former Valencia manager now with Getafe, and Valencia now 3 points above Getafe this season because they keep winning and winning. What a second part of the season with Corberán on the bench. Getafe season over, 4 consecutive defeats.
Since reaching 39 points, Getafe has suffered 4 losses. they've been deflated, they've been relaxed. It happened to them last year. I think that they finished La Liga with 5 straight defeats. That was because they managed to get to the 41 or 42 point tally, and then they, after reaching that threshold, they decided to stop. I'm not saying that Getafe has voluntarily decided to stop because they are not mathematically, arithmetically saved, but it's true that after kind of reaching your target, after seeing yourself so far away from the relegation, it's normal to think that the target has been achieved. It's a team, despite their 4 losses in a row, that they still have a goal difference of 0, which is something that I always praise. 8 teams in La Liga have it, and Getafe is one of them. And I read David Soria, the goalkeeper, saying the other day that they had a lot of anxiety to reach their target, which is avoiding relegation, but in reality I really think that they have done it. For this game, no 𝗀𝗫𝗍, who is probably the trademark Bordalás man, is suspended, and when it comes to Valencia, all the praises are deserved. 2.5 months without a defeat, 30 points with 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀. One thing that takes me into betting into this game will be that 7 out of the 8 wins that Valencia got with 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 have been by 1 goal only. So Valencia haven't super beaten teams lately. They just got the wins with tight margins and all that. So in that aspect, they kind of mirror Getafe, or Getafe's know-how in tight games. That's why I'm going to go for an Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Valencia, which pays 170. On top of that, Valencia got 8 wins with 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀, 6 of them were at home, and I acknowledge the difficulties that beating Getafe may present, but I think that if someone wins here, could be Valencia, but I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap minus 0.25, 170. Otherwise, there are some bets here and there that can be interesting. I'm still waiting for the value on this, but over 4.5 cards could be a good one. And something that doesn't necessarily contradict my first pick would be a first half draw, which pays 2, but I prefer the Asian handicap minus 0.25, 170, and think about the 90 minutes.
Next game is Celta-Sevilla. Celta fighting for the Europa League spot. 3 defeats in the last 4, but they battled at the Bernabeu after being 3-0 down. Iago Aspas still been brilliant in the second half, and they are finishing with Real Sociedad or Rayo, for instance, so it's direct rivals for this European spots. And Sevilla, Alvaro, they were very lucky to get the draw against Leganés, because Leganés striker, they missed a huge chance at the latest minutes of the game. They could be in trouble, so it's 6 points away from Las Palmas, should be enough, but they play Las Palmas actually, so still with no wins, with Caparrós, maybe they are still at risk, maybe.
Well, the calendar of Sevilla is difficult because they play against Las Palmas in game week 36, but then they play against Real Madrid, then Villarreal. That's quite an ending of La Liga, quite a season final for them. They haven't collected any win under Caparrós. They've gone 7 games without a win, 4 of them with García Pimienta, 3 of them with Joaquín Caparrós. The season is really concerning and really poor, and maybe Sevilla doesn't even need to collect any more points to stay in La Liga, because right now they've got 38, and who knows if Las Palmas or Leganés, and forget about Valladolid, they're going to get the needed points. But still, the season is super concerning, and at some point the narrative was Sevilla is already thinking on the next season and what they will do in summer under such financial constraints. Now the conversation is different. What is Sevilla going to do now? Because they are not safe, and they are playing against Celta, and Celta is a very, very good side with plenty of academy players. The other day against Real Madrid, they had a lineup with 11 Spanish players, which is not a usual thing to happen. And Celta attacks more, they believe more in what they do. I think that they are going to win this game. The money is not superb, it pays 183, For a team like Celta against Sevilla, maybe that's just slightly low, but at the same time, it reflects the current reality of both teams. So Celta to win 183, and if you go to the individual market, I think Borja Iglesias has been quite good recently. Him to score, take it into consideration. You don't necessarily have to do it. You can even wait for in-game betting. But Borja Iglesias to score 263, considering that he's playing well lately, it's a possibility.
At the Bernabeu, he didn't do much, but it's true also that he played the first half, and Celta were overplayed by Real Madrid in the first half, and then they had their chances in the second half. Next game, Girona Villarreal, good one. This one with Girona 6 points above relegation, crucial win against Mallorca to end their bad run, and next game is with Valladolid, so they should be safe winning that game with Valladolid, because this one is going to be very tough for Girona. Villarreal to win, I guess we should look at it. Alvaro is 2.2. They are in good form, and they are still fighting for the Champions League spots. They are only 1 point above Betis and only 3 points behind Athletic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are not in Europe, and that counts a lot. Villarreal has been doing great away lately, it has to be said. They scored a lot of goals this season, 60. And they got a player like 𝐜𝐭𝐼, who has already scored 16. By the way, him to score is 2.6, and he's in a very good run. But yeah, Girona got a super important win last Monday. Very important, with a goal from 𝗀𝗏𝗏, if I am not mistaken. A player who's always delivering. And this game can be a synonym of goals. This is what I'm gonna say. I think that Girona can be a little bit lifted after their win on Monday, but Villarreal is playing solidly, and they're fighting for Champions League. I think that Girona is gonna be competitive. I think that this game is gonna be tighter than it may look. So I'm gonna go for over 2.5 goals, 163. It's slightly low because the bookmakers consider this game like an over rather than an under. You can push it up to over 3 goals as well. Girona doesn't score many, but Villarreal leave spaces behind them. So, over 3 goals could be, yeah, okay, but I prefer over 2.5 goals. Stay a little bit more cautious, 163.
Mallorca Valladolid is the next one, and I agree with your words about the sad fight for the Conference League spot, and Mallorca is in the fight, even if the second part of the season has been poor. This 2025 has not been great. They lost to Girona. Usually their games are under 2.5 goals. The last 4, for instance, were under 2.5 goals. But of course, they are playing Valladolid. Everyone beats Valladolid, even if they played with dignity against Barcelona. So, of course, Alvaro, the bookies expect Mallorca to win here.
Yeah, and I think that they will win, but not necessarily by a big margin. From the sides fighting for the 7th spot, Mallorca is clearly the lowest scoring. And Mallorca has recorded in La Liga 24-25 12 wins, but only 2 by 2 goals or more. Well, in fact, by 2 goals. They never won by 3 goals this season. In 2025, they have recorded 3 wins this calendar year. To the point that if you compare the numbers of the first half of the season and the second half of the season, the numbers are very telling. In the first 19 games, they got 30 points. And in the second half of the season, they got 14 points. On the other hand, Valladolid, we have said enough about them. Their last win was in January. Their last point was collected in February. They have been relegated for weeks now. But I think that Mallorca could win it, but I don't think that they will hammer Valladolid. The other day, I liked the energy of Valladolid against Barcelona, with players like Anuar, for example, who will be departing in summer, by the way. So I'm going to back Valladolid with a positive ACCA handicap. Mallorca has only won 2 games by 2 goals this season, 2 goals or more. So I'm going to go for ACCA handicap plus 1.5 for Valladolid, 184.
I don't expect also many goals in the next one. Atlético Madrid, Real Sociedad, they played the most boring games last weekend. Atlético Madrid with Alavés, and Real Sociedad in the Basque Derby, goalless draws, both of them. But also the end of the season for both sides, Álvaro, have been poor. Atlético de Madrid with no goals, only thinking about the Club World Cup at the end of the season. They play especially bad away, and Real Sociedad with Imanol knowing that he's gonna leave, they are not delivering. He's winless in the last four, although they can still qualify for Europe, and they should, because I think Real Sociedad, for instance, if they qualify for the conference, as we are seeing this season with Betis, they have a good chance to win or to play a European final.
There are many uncertainties with Real Sociedad after Imanol's departure. Of course, we know that the new manager is going to be someone from the academy. But yes, playing in Europe will be great for Real Sociedad, even if it's the Conference League. At the end of the day, yes, look at Betis, look at Fiorentina, look at sides like Olympiacos, who found a little bit of glory in that competition. Why not to think that Real Sociedad can target that the next season? But, you know, they have looked not very convincing this season. We can put it that way. I think that the departure of Merino was really costly for Real Sociedad. They haven't been able to replace him properly. And the team has been, you know, not very fluid. The ball circulation has been slow. Defensively, they've been okay, but not as good as they have been in some other seasons. And they scored very few goals. This has to be said. I mean, in this La Liga season, Real Sociedad haven't scored in 15 games. So they have scored in 19 of them, and in 15 of them have been scoreless. And when it comes to Atlético de Madrid, look, the second half of the season has been disappointing. They cannot win the league now, mathematically, with 4 games remaining. And that is quite a thing for a team that was winter champion. Normally, if you are winter champion, you're supposed to be fighting for the title until the end, but they didn't. Even though for this game, I think that Atlético de Madrid is going to win it, because they are playing at home, plain and simple, and because they've got better players than Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad has a little bit more to play for, but Atlético are playing in front of their fans, and I'm sure that they won't want to disappoint them. So Atlético to win 162, but I'm more than happy to go up to an Asian handicap -1 for Atlético. That pays 210.
Good point, actually. Atletico were winter champions, and then they crumbled in the second part of the season, especially, well, losing to Barcelona also in Copa del Rey, losing to Real Madrid in La Liga, and dropping points against teams fighting against relegation. In La Liga, for instance, against Leganés. Next game is Leganés Espanyol. Leganés going to Segunda División, penultimate in the standings now, is 4 points from Alavés, so almost gone. They must win here. The draw in Sevilla was not enough, especially with the missed chance at the end of the game. Espanyol, on the other hand, Álvaro, safe with 39 points, even if they lost at the very last minute with Betis.
Espanyol are kind of safe, yeah. I think that the best news lately has been the goalkeeper 𝗀𝗵𝗏𝗏, who apparently has caught the interest of many top sides. His release clause is 25 million, but it can go up to 30 if he earns a cap with Spain, according to reports. He has collected 5 clean sheets since February. That's why I'm gonna go for one a little bit of a difficult market, but at least one that I will take into account. A clean sheet for Espanyol will be 3.0, and Leganés doesn't score many goals. I know that the club, Leganés, is going to make a big effort to increase the attendance for the game. There are discounts. I think that some children will be able to enter the ground, I don't know if for free, but for a good price. But Leganés is in big trouble. They won their last game at the start of March. And in total in La Liga, they have won 6 games. I mean, if you win 6 games in La Liga, I challenge you to tell me how many draws you need to stay in La Liga. Maybe 18 or 19. Leganés has already 13. So it's either they get a couple of wins and they put themselves there in the mix to stay in La Liga. But if they get 4 more draws, they are not gonna stay in La Liga. Really, there is no time. With 4 more draws in the 4 games remaining, they will have 35 points, as many as Alavés 17th has now. So Leganés has to start winning, but they haven't won since the start of March, and they have won only 6 times in La Liga. I'm gonna back Espanyol with a little bit. Okay, so it would be a double chance for Espanyol, just given the outstanding amount of draws that Leganés tends to get. Double chance for Espanyol, also considering that they are in a good moment, 1.6.
And now the game of the games, Alvaro. On Sunday, 4 p.m. local time, I'm very happy also to see this schedule in El Clásico. We have Barcelona, Real Madrid. Barcelona to win, really favorites. Odds are 2. Remember, this season, El Clásico at the Bernabéu, easy win for Barcelona. Also easy win in the Super Cup and a suffer win just 2 weeks ago in the Copa del Rey final in the extra time. But now it looks like Barcelona players are very tired. The season has been very long. They are very young, most of them, and they are coming from this huge disappointment, losing at the extra time in Milan in the Champions League semi-finals. So they are not gonna do a treble or win the treble this season. And on the other hand, we have Real Madrid thinking about next season, thinking about new manager. But with 𝗛𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀 shining, it looks like Ancelotti finally is not putting Rodrigo in the lineup. Rodrigo was injured. He had fever against Celta, so he was not available. But hopefully, Álvaro, hopefully for Real Madrid fans, we don't see Rodrigo anymore in the lineup, and we see 𝗛𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀, a player that is shining in the last 2 games.
He played very well. He scored a beautiful volley against Celta. He's a player that will need to improve a lot his work ethics if he wants to play as a midfielder for Real Madrid. But maybe he's up for it. And I rate 𝗛𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗀. I think that he's a very good footballer. Look, Barcelona and Real Madrid played 2 weeks ago in the Cup final, and the game was very tight. And this game is going to be very tight as well. Because Real Madrid has really good players, and because Barcelona is a team that plays very well but has many flaws. In my opinion, Barcelona doesn't have nuances or different registers. For example, against Inter, after scoring the third one and put yourself in advantage in the tie, you have to kill off the game, and they didn't know how to do that. Because Barcelona doesn't know how to do these things yet, and I don't know if Hansi Flick is very interested really in adding these things to the side. For Barcelona and for Real Madrid, the absences are there. I think that for Barcelona are even more important, because I always say the same thing, but Madrid has more financial power, and therefore their squad is better. From the player 16 to the player 25 of the squad of Real Madrid, there is more quality than from the player 16 to the player 25 of Barcelona. All that said, Barcelona has been a better side this season, has played better, and they have beaten them in 3 clásicos. For Barcelona, not having 𝗍𝗏𝗀𝗀 and very likely 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 is a massive thing. I know that Gerard Martin gave 2 assists the other day against Inter at San Siro, but he's a player that defensively I don't trust at all. And on the right hand side, Eric Garcia does as much as he can. He scored a goal, funnily enough, at San Siro, but he is not used 𝗍𝗏𝗀𝗏. Szczęsny will play for Barcelona, even though Ter Stegen was available against Valladolid and he played there. It's a great battle as well between the scorers, Lewandowski and Mbappé. Lewandowski, I think that he's going to be fit to play definitely more than at San Siro. And this game is one of those in which there are no favorites, in my opinion. I've seen Real Madrid beating Barcelona at Barcelona's ground, despite Barcelona, being much better that season. The reverse thing at Santiago Bernabéu, Barcelona beat them once 4-0 at Santiago Bernabéu with Xavi Hernández, and that season Real Madrid ended up winning the Liga and the Champions League. So many things can happen, but I think that goals will happen, certainly. So I'm going to go for over 3.25 goals, 174. Otherwise, individual market, just very quickly. Lamine Yamal to have 2 shots on target or more, 3.1. There is a lot of money in there, and why do I go for this? Because lately, Lamine Yamal, especially, you could see that in Milan, he has realized that he's the best player of this team, and he's taking a lot of shooting responsibilities. It happened against Inter. So Lamine Yamal to have 2 shots or more on target, 3.1.
or Mbappé, in my opinion, and probably seeing his teammates in PSG arriving to the final, he's hungry to achieve something, and he's scoring plenty of goals with Real Madrid, still with Celta. He scored a beauty. So I can see also Mbappé scoring. Be careful, because if Real Madrid win this game, they are in -1 with Barcelona. Barcelona have a very tough schedule until the end of La Liga. They are facing Espanyol, midweek, derby, Villarreal, and ending the season with Athletic in San Mamés. So the La Liga can be really, really open and interesting if Los Blancos are able to win in Montjuic, which is a huge if, but who knows. And later on, we have a derby, Athletic Alavés, Athletic in Manchester playing the Europa League semi-finals with plenty of absentees, with the Williams brothers out, with Sunset out, but still, Alvaro, they have to think in La Liga. The Champions League spot is not yet secure, and they must beat Alavés. Usually we are seeing low-scoring games lately with Athletic. For Alavés is normal. Last 6 games actually were under 2.5 goals, so I don't expect a goal feast here, especially if the attacking players of Athletic are not fit.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe some of them are available. I don't know that. But the truth is that, what a moment to lose your best players. Vivian is not playing at Old Trafford. He will be playing against Alavés on Sunday, for sure. The Williams brothers are out. I don't know if any of them is going to be available for this game against Alavés. Sunset, one of those mysteries. Why is he picking so many injuries? I don't know. Look, Alavés haven't lost a derby this season. 2 wins and 2 draws in the Basque derbies. And Athletic de Bilbao will reach this game tired, but at the same time with a sense of responsibility, because they know that it's in their hands to qualify for the Champions League. So I'm going to back Athletic, but with a pinch of salt. This game can be tricky, for the reason I said as well. Alavés hasn't lost a derby this season, and also they are fighting to avoid relegation. So Asian handicap -0.25 for Athletic Club, 160.
And the last game, also on Sunday, remember, we have midweek games the following week, so there is no game on Monday. It's Betis Osasuna. Betis in Firenze, in Florence, playing the conference semi-final. So, of course, they are going to be tired for this game just 3 days later, but they are also very focused. In La Liga, they got themselves a great win against Espanyol, with Anthony scoring a screamer in the very last minute, and they are also dreaming about playing Champions League next season. They are facing Rayo and Atlético de Madrid next, and they face Osasuna. They were coming in a good run. They lost to Villarreal, but before that, 3 consecutive wins, and is one of these teams also fighting for the conference.
Yeah, on that very sad fight for the Conference League that we are seeing in La Liga, very different to the fight in the Premier League, with teams that they are actually having a great season and playing great football. It hasn't happened in Spain with the 9th spot or the 8th spot, believe me, as I said before. But yeah, Osasuna, look, they had a good run, but then they went to Villarreal and they lost 4-2 because Villarreal is a better side. And here with Betis, something similar can happen. Betis is fighting for the same targets as Villarreal. They are in a great moment. If it was for the second half of the season, Betis and Valencia will be in Champions League spots, and Betis are close to doing it. Not only the super goal from Anthony was something that I remember from the last game of Betis, but also the super goal from 𝐜𝐭𝐚𝐲, who dribbled past 2 players before blasting it into the net. Betis is better. Good for them that they are playing at 8 p.m, I guess, because they will be playing in the conference in the Estadio Artemio Franchi, and that's not going to be easy. But despite the rotations, they managed to win their previous game, and maybe here too, playing at home, oozing with confidence. I think they can do Fiorentina. Betis to win against Osasuna, 163. It's a very good moment for Betis.
All right, well, this is it for this match day in La Liga. Very interesting, crucial one this weekend for the title fight. Alvaro, just, of course, before we go to your safe bet and your ACCA, remember, guys, that you can post your tips in Oddspedia and participate in our tipster competitions and win some cash prizes. And also, You have the opportunity to sign up in Rivals and create your own tipster competitions and challenge your friends. Álvaro, your safe bet?
Yeah, it is Atlético to win, 163.
ACCA?
Asian handicap -1 for Atlético de Madrid. Barcelona, Real Madrid over 3 goals. Altogether 321.
Well, tell me, guys, your tips for El Clásico and see you next week. Next week, 2 videos. We have plenty of football in La Liga. Bye-bye.